gauge. But then I got with Sam, and that relationship was so calm all the time. Like, we never fought. Like, we didn't raise our voices. She could be a little, sometimes a little neurotic and get, like, yell for no apparent reason, but, like, it wasn't anything serious ever. But, like, I thought I was pretty good, pretty well adjusted. And back when I went through a, horrible breakup situation, I was super, like, clinically depressed at the time. I went and saw a therapist, did all that and worked with this therapist for, like, 4 or 5 months, and seeing her, like, twice a week, like, a lot, and thought I really, kind of got myself out of the depression and all that. It wasn't until I started taking mushrooms, though, and it wasn't like this one epiphany moment of the mushrooms. It was just like I was taking mushrooms, I was experiencing all these things, and then, like, all of this kind of stuff just kind of coalesced, in my brain somehow, and it just, like, and I wasn't even on mushrooms at the time. It was, like, outside of, but I was just contemplating all this stuff, and it just came to me. I was like, holy shit! Like, I could see the whole track record of where I came from and why. Like, it was when I got shot. When I got shot on the freeway that time, it fucked me up. Like, way worse than I thought it did. I thought it was fine. It was a big deal. Big fucking bullet in my arm. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. Pull it out, get some tweezers. I wasn't even, like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't even hurt. Like, it wasn't. I was pissed, though. I was angry.
So did you just drive down the road and got shot?
Yeah. I told you that story.
No, I don't know.
Did I tell you that story?
No.
Alright. It was like in 2000. I think it was 2000. But we're on the freeway, and yeah, it was 2000. It was about either 2000. It was 2000 or 2001, but I'm pretty sure it was 2000. Where I had DJ'd my buddy's wedding, and it was out on the west side. My mom watched the kids, so we went and picked the kids up. She lived on 35th Avenue Northern, and we're heading home. We lived on 7th Street, Thomas. We got to take the I-17 to the 10 through the tunnel, 7th Street. Get off. We're home. We're on I-17. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm cruising along, 65. There's no traffic, and we're just enjoying. It was a great night, everybody's happy, everything's good. The kids are all fucking passed out in the bag or sleeping, on the bench seat in the van. We had this big white fucking utility van, like, and all of a sudden, pop, shit starts happening. I'm like, what the fuck? And, like, everything slows down in those moments. Like, it's like, I imagine, like, a fighter pilot or, like, somebody's driving an SUV and it gets attacked. Everything just goes in slow motion. It's crazy. It's like I've had those moments when you're playing a sport, like racquetball or basketball or whatever, like, if you're really in the zone and, like, everything around you just goes slow. You're like, haha.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Like that kind of moment. It's cool, right? But that's not, like, this was different. This was like, boom, you're just hyper focused and just like, and I don't know if your brain is able to, like, rewind and play back for you or something. I think that's gotta be it. Because I didn't know what the fuck was going on until I knew what the fuck was going on. And then all of a sudden it was just like all of it. I knew all of it. Like, I know Kung Fu. It was like, and I saw the muzzle flash in my rear view mirror, and there was a bullet hole right here in the windshield. And it was behind me. And then I saw another muzzle flash, pop, nothing, pop, another one, and fucking another hole right here. So there's a hole, no hole, hole. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Jesus. And meanwhile, my girl in the passenger seat, she's screaming, pull over! Because there's sparks flying all over the fucking van. And she thinks the engine's right here in this van. She thinks the engine's blowing up or something. I'm like, it's not the engine. They're fucking shooting at us. I'm not pulling over. And so this is right as a stack. So I'm going to go east, and they fucking took off west. And I watched them the whole way. I watched them in this mirror until they disappeared. Then I watched them in the side mirror over here until they disappeared. Then I could see them out the window. They got on that fucking ramp and got almost all the way to the freeway before they turned their lights off or on. They didn't have their lights on. No headlights on. And they unloaded a whole clip. Luckily, so I felt, the only thing I felt was something hit me in the back of the head. So I thought I got shot in the fucking head. And I'm on this fucking ramp, and I'm thinking, if I don't fucking make this turn, everybody in this van's dead. My whole family's dead if I don't make this turn. So I'm just like, I gotta make this turn. And then once I get around the corner, you take a breath, and we get to the tunnel, and I felt something dripping on my arm. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I had blood. I'm like, oh shit, I'm bleeding. And then I felt the back of my head, and there was like a bump back there. I'm like, I don't want to fucking. I got home. I drove home, and I got out, and I'm like, fuck. There's and I could feel like a bump in there, and I squeezed it, and I told Shannon, I'm like, get the tweezers, get this fucking shit out of my arm. She's like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm like, come on, what are we doing? She's like, we gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, oh my god. And so we went to the hospital, and it was crazy. One of the coolest things about this story for me, we get to the hospital, and the dude, the nurse, the male nurse, was this kid that I used to host this thing for the YMCA called Late Night Basketball, and it was at was it Osborne? I think it was Osborne Middle School. It was right in the 19th Avenue in like Osborne or Butler, one of them. I don't know. That middle school right there. I had keys to the gym. I'd go in, open up. We had basketball from fucking 9 o'clock to midnight, and fucking all kinds of kids from the neighborhood come. It was fucking awesome, and I was the only one there. I was the only one in charge, right? And this one kid, Tony, came in, and he's this little gangbanger, fucking, punk ass, whatever. And I could play. I could play basketball back in the day, and he fancied himself a basketball player. And then we're going back and forth, and he's talking shit, and I'm fucking schooling his ass. He don't like it. So he starts fouling me, and I start fucking scoring more, and then finally he fouls me, and I'm like, all right, I can't let this I can't let it go like this, he's got to learn a lesson, this fucking kid. And so I'm dribbling up top, he's guarding me, and I go pop right out of his face and fucking took it in for the layup. His nose is bleeding. I'm like, passed it to myself. And the next week he came back with all his cousins. All his cousins. There was like, and his uncle. There was like all these people. Like there about 12 Mexicans show up, right?
Oh, shit.
And they're looking for blood. They're not happy with me. He told them what happened, and so we start playing. And I'm just like, let's go. They're gonna play ball. Let's go. And so we get in there, and of course, every single one of these motherfuckers fouling the shit out of me and just pushing me and fucking talking shit, and it's like, keep scoring, And then at a certain point, his uncle pulls me aside. He's like, you're pretty good at fucking ball. I'm like, thanks. He's like, my nephew told me what you did. I'm like, well, what did he tell you? He said, he told us you fucking smacked him in the face with the ball. I said, I did, because he was being a little bitch, and I want to teach him a lesson. And he's like, yeah, he is a little bitch sometimes. I can respect that. And we came out fucking all friends, right? We came out all friends. And so the nurse was that kid, Tony Talabas. He was the nurse at the hospital when they pulled the bullet out of me. And he's like, what the fuck happened? Yeah. So he grew up to fucking do good things, dude. It was awesome.
Wow.
It was really cool.
That's fucking